Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. Rebuile more voice of the people. From myself, Fangs, and my co-host, Chief. How's it going, Chief?
I'm fantastic, Mr. Fangs. Out there, my voice of the people.
Hey, I'm always excited when we're back here. And today's topic is quite an interesting one, isn't it?
Yeah. Look, we've all seen what's been happening in the past few weeks. Mobutswana, the money heist.
The
money heist. So that's what we're going to talk about today, man. Should our police institute a shoot to kill policy for criminals?
That's right.
And then they ask questions later, similar to what our wildlife officers used to do when it came to poaching.
And wildlife, Chief.
Because there was a poaching pandemic, much like the pandemic we're in right now, where in terms of rhinos and things like that. So it was a bit of a harsh policy, but some would say that it worked because since the wildlife officers of that particular unit didn't have arms anymore, some people argued that's why poaching has increased. So some truth to that, So maybe if we do the same thing with criminals, these heists will go down.
So with poaching, shoot to killing to say be ho kotsa diphologolo go poachiwa ebile ke ha bo South Africa ba store di rhino tsa bone mo Botswana di tlo di siela kwano di tshaba bone poaching. So what you're saying is hela yalo le batho di rukutli di tso go tshaba to commit crimes or gun crimes in Botswana once they know that they can get shot and killed.
That's what I believe, Mr. Fangs. But we're always interested in hearing what the people believe. So we put the question out to them earlier on the voice page and asked them, what do they feel? Should the police institute a shoot to kill policy? And Botswana ba commentile. But early views, let's go through some of their comments, and we invite you to share more comments in the live video below. We'll get through to some of those comments. So I'm going to read one comment. The first comment coming from Mokwetsi ORJ. Mokwetsi ORJ says, the cases of armed robberies are growing day by day, but the whole body of police should never rush to arm themselves. I'd suggest a special group within the police be established to respond to such cases. However, though, we have the SSG, Ababereke, to deal with such cases of armed robberies. So
Mokgweetsi go lebega ekare sort of o dumalana le one mogopolo a teng, and yes, there definitely should be armed police, but iska nna mapodisi otlhe wa bona ene ba ba respondang to special circumstances yaka the special support group,
which I think they already are armed, if I'm not mistaken, because automatic. So maybe that is a proposal that could actually work. Let me read another comment here from Leslie Munchusi Are. An armed criminal arms himself to the extent of killing in fulfilling his or her mission. So why should such a rascal not be confronted with same force and brutality and they unleash, even if it means killing them? Reckless and life-threatening behavior cannot and should not be tolerated at all. Leaboleka defender the indefensible, both things. With crime clearly the return game must be an eye for an eye. Leslie Munchusi. Leslie Hore. Kana armed criminals, they have no remorse. So maybe our police force should also meet them with the same force. I mean, there's so many stories of in like the most violent and grotesque ways. We've seen the videos, they smash and grab and things like that, you know what I mean?
Right.
So the kind of, what this guy is saying is that an eye for an eye. If you want to be violent as a criminal, then you should be met with violence.
I wonder if that's the Old Testament, Chief. The New Testament doesn't talk about an eye for an eye. A re utlwe gore a me Batswana ba support-a mogopolo ona botlhe. Wycliffe Hakantu are, well, probabilities of shooting innocent people could be high. See, that's a real interesting issue, Chief, because pandemic last year America where all of the cops apparently have guns.
Yeah.
And we just keep hearing this person got shot, that person got shot, this person got shot for selling CDs outside the shop.
Wait, hold on. Kana hape aras kara confuse di khang. Ra itse re ma polisi go America ha o le montshonyana tota ga ba go favor sen ba go lebe ka litho le tshwanang le ba bangwe wa bona. So I think it's a special context, you know what I'm saying?
Okay, so what you're saying is that so we don't need to worry about people getting shot.
Look, there's always a chance of innocent bystanders, right? I think any law enforcement security operation, collateral damage, exist. But then the reason why trigger happy states is because just culturally, you know, I think our temperament is different. You know, I've even seen some stats that talk about how the Botswana police service is voted like the best in Africa. We have a whole academy, repeatedly go where like other countries send their police officers here. So if anybody is going to be responsible, right?
Oh, that's true. That's true. Our police have been trained by the best. They're trained as the best. That's true. Now, before Kebala comment wangu khotla. Comment ke go botsa hela gore Chief, if this is how we're working, are you not worried gore at some point they're not the best at doing their job? You know, like police brutality is a thing, right? I remember one time certified for example, Koborakanelo police station, and there was a guy or something, and one of the lady cops literally pulled him outside of the room. You're never certified. I can never say about a statement, and then I could literally hear her slapping him. Well, when just outside the door, you know what I mean? And this is obviously legal. You cannot do that. You can't slap people that are in police custody. But police officers clearly do that. So are you not worried that that cop, if you give her a gun, then now instead of slapping somebody, she'll shoot him?
No, I don't think so. You know, also, kind of the type of incidences you're talking about. I mean, I've seen those incidences also. Some of these criminals have an idea. You know, we saw some video where Motonagua or Jajota mentioned. You know what I mean? And these are not the type of criminals generally we're talking about. Kana violent, cash heist, hairagala. We tell who action. You know, people are putting people and what. You just come in and shoot. That's the type of thing we're talking about. So obviously we can't plan for every single eventuality. Haritsu reta hope hela hore ba train you sentle hore ba ska ba pota ka ha di khoning ba tsa ba thoka dimpama like you saw things.
Hey, like ba comment ya ga wangu khotla nkanogang are who was killed in the armed robberies. If we adopt that policy, there's a likelihood that those police guys who were robbed of their guns could be dead. That's another real issue. Escalation, Chief. As now I haven't heard of any of these guys killing anyone in these heists. But now, if they know that the police officers that come on the scene are going to try and kill them, does that not create an incentive for them to shoot first?
I don't know. I think that's like wishful thinking that the criminals on that day, because who's to say that this group are currently carrying out are not like the softer ones. Maybe the next group of guys, they're going to be more ruthless, you know? So I don't think we can plan just because nobody has died, now we can't do this. I think we need to, like, as responsible, people who make laws, plan for those type of eventualities that, look, even though somebody hasn't died yet from this, it could happen, right? Hey, so now I'd rather err on that side of preventing rather than after it happens. It's very reactionary. It's not visionary.
Hey, Bokvel K Balekang are yes, ababola magodu a ba ikgantsha tota. Questa Dausan die are job ke job. Job ke job. So ke ba dumalana lwena. Please keep the comments coming in, guys. We're loving the comments. And we'll even be going into the streets after this. This new problem that we're really not used to gun crime, you know?
Yeah. That's another thing, thanks. You know, this is why not said in ya shoot to kill. But obviously we'll get into the debate afterwards. That by the gun crime, you know? So it's very shocking. When these things happen. By the way, another thing that I found very interesting, facts that I think we as a people need to desist from. I think one comes a collateral damage, and another the reason because generally so you know, aside from get outside of this conversation, but how do you
instead of rubbernecking? Simon Masitara Arena, guys, police in Botswana have shown their violent tendencies. They just haven't had extremely violent means, in brackets, weapons. Wa kanya tenko re ene bone kare ke boela tenko na ha re gola re sentse re le malaitingana wana re tla re tshela ko di bareng kae ne re itse gore ha gongwe ma SSG ba khona go tlahela e ba la attack ela ba petsa di pa ma rifi wa what so na ke ipotsa gore ya no ha mataka wana ba tse di gana go te ya shoot to kill
me a ne ba sa enforce molao. So sometimes we complain about people actually doing their jobs. But here's somebody who agrees with you guys, right? And this is offense rakoma. They will shoot and kill a man for dancing in the street. Kibua se holega hokaetsa hore harana police, just frustrated individuals from police uniform. Look, then this guy is saying what you're talking about, you know, that, you know, some people are going to just enforce the law for very arbitrary crimes, right? But now we must also try and give an air of confidence in our police force, you know. I get how long mathateng gone ha things but ba tseng let's go la beng o letsa mapodisi so ya no kore it's like lorna le batho rena le double standard re bata mapodisi hela ha re le mo mathateng me ha re le mo menateng re itse re roba melao ya ka o bua gore ma SSG ba tswela di bar ha re ba bate. So I think as people also you need to respect the law enforcement officers, you know.
Okay, I hear you.
It's going to break.
And before we go on our break, I just want to read one last comment from Witoko Kevin Dink. Maloba, neba shapa, people who are just standing by watching Baba Takanya le Baba Nemba strikeile. Go ya go palang gore be ba thuntsa mongwe le mongwe ka go lebega ba sena discipline mapodisi a Botswana. Wa bona?
Again, look, I cannot defend. There's that video we saw, WWF, le police le tekla mo together. I can't defend that, right? We have to understand gore again, but ba enforcer molao ba dira tiro tsa bone. Batho ne ba khotlaganya agere. So bone tota ne ba retse batho ba re phatlalang gone ho. Again, again, there's always as much as we can complain that we're being treated unfairly, there's always an escalation. It doesn't just start hella bata hella ka di shambo ko hela basuma ba letsenela. I'll tell you what. Now come go get tsaba shambo ka teng. The moment ke ba bona ba arrange hale ba simula ba matcha. And I'm not saying that it's justified what they were doing, but also you must have a little bit of self-preservation.
Fair enough. And with that, we're going to go into a break. We'll see you in a couple minutes.
That are ready to conquer the day. Places to go, to see, but there's no stopping this beauty. So let go and be free to celebrate your confidence. Take control of your day with Legends Legendary Wave products to keep your wave sensational this season. Apply wave control evenly over the waves to keep your hair soft, smooth, with a gentle shine to give you the confidence you need to change the world. Live your legacy in style. Ease into the smooth wave of the day and become unstoppable. Be legendary with Legends Barbershop. Living your legacy in style.
Welcome back to VOP with Fangs and Chief. I want to start off by reading one. The comments keep coming. I'm going to just read a comment. At first, we need body cameras. We need to have our police monitored. We cannot have a police service with so much power that is not monitored. That's pardon me. That's why there's so much police brutality and police abusing power. We have police beating people, and when these issues are brought forward, it's your word against theirs. Okay,
look, I'll just very briefly start off where I'm speaking by saying that we need to approach a zero tolerance attitude towards these type of crimes, right? And I think what a lot of the comments are coming in and talking about, specifically your neo lady body cam, are all well and good. I think that thing they can happen at the same time. We can have body cams and weapons, right? But I think the question we need to answer is, will this stop violent criminals from doing what they're doing? Because and that's the main thing that we need to curb, right? Because some of these things about the accountability of police officers, I don't think that it's such a huge issue mo Botswana. There's that public outcry police brutality. I think generally across the board, Mapodisi are very well respected members of society, you know. Just see how the way we respect police officers, just in the social gathering, things like that, you know. So I don't think we're in a society that generally undermines the value of police officers. So some of these things, about accountability, I don't think they directly apply to us. But the most important reason why I think there needs to be a shoot to kill policy is, like I said, there needs to be a zero tolerance attitude as a deterrent towards this type of violent crime. Because it hasn't been happening in Botswana, and all of a sudden, it seems as if culturally it's creeping in. I'll give you an example. What happens when you don't have a zero tolerance attitude is that it starts slowly. Look, you've seen the videos of what happens in downtown Joburg, Fangs. Go Park Station, bus station, go Johannesburg, go Park Station. But and the reason why people just pass you and they don't do anything is because they're also scared that, like this guy could have a gun and now I'm putting my life at risk. You know what I mean? But mo Botswana, the moment you look bus ranking, literally everybody is going to be mobilized. They must come and help you to attack that person. So I think generally we have a zero tolerance attitude towards crime. But now we need to take it a step further to make sure that when it comes to weapons, to crimes, petty criminals, these violent criminals need to know when it comes to crimes, they're going to face death. Another reason why this needs to happen is because how stories since about these people, these heists, they're repeat offenders. Video you know, and these are the type of brazen attitudes that these guys start to develop now. Once everywhere. So now when you have repeat offenders that are so confident and brazen and violent and show you I think the escalation, and like you rightly said, they're gonna arm themselves. The escalation is that they might automatically start to pick up arms. So I think as a police service, you need to just stop it in the bud, right? And lastly, like as I close, look, I think we need to also protect our police officers, because now we're finding out that some of these criminals are even foreigners, right? I think 2 of them about South Africa. So now already like the crime rate and the murder rate is very high. So now we need to protect our own police officers to make sure even these guys, body security company, transport them idea. Because now you come across a guy who has a gun, and we're now batoning na hela ulibile salary ya 3.5. What are you going to do? You get what I mean? So for the protection of the police officers and the security guards, we need to arm the police so that they shoot to kill on site, and they'll ask questions later. Just like the wildlife policy. Look, that's the reason why we had such a great number of rhinos and elephants. And all of a sudden, I mean, I don't know if this is fact, but it seems as if the poaching rates are going up, and it coincides with the taking away of arms from those particular units of wildlife officers. Mr. Fangs.
Alpha Lefambezi, are we not going to see a trend? 2009 to 2011, where some incompetent, trigger-happy officers were shooting innocent people. So I think Ketlatsa speech is from comment on Alfred. The first thing is because say the comment what you're saying, well, police brutality isn't really that big a problem in Botswana. And I would say that it is. I'd say it's a massive problem in this country. The only thing is, it's not all over the news, because when our police are brutal, they keep you in a cell for longer than you should be. They slap you or punch you, right? They're not going to shoot you. That's the only reason, because they don't have guns. But the minute you give them guns, then you give them a new avenue through which to abuse their power. Power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. And what we can see is, if you already have right now cops that are abusing their power, then you can only assume that when they have more power, then the abuses they commit will be more egregious. And even if it's still isolated incidents, even if it's 1 out of 100,000 people that experiences police brutality, that is still one person too many. Because if that cop is now given a gun, that's 1 out of 100,000 innocent people getting murdered by police officers. And that's something I don't think you can't give a life back. At least I'll carry on, but you can't give a life back. When somebody's been shot, that's the end of their life, you know? The second thing, I hear you that you don't want the problem to escalate. You don't want the problem to grow, and therefore you want to have zero tolerance. I just think that the solution, you got a problem-solution mismatch. The solution I see is to increase the punishment for these people when they have been found guilty. Because remember, these people have not been to court yet. They're being apprehended in the process of committing a crime. They are suspects. They need to be convicted. And the problem is, if you allow them to get shot before they go to court, then when we find out afterwards, oh no, actually, he's just a guy that looked like Fangs. He's not Fangs. But now that poor guy is dead. And you can't bring that back. So when it comes to human life, and this is, I think, my central point, when it comes to human life and death decisions should not be subjective. They should not be left up to an individual who God knows what he's been going through today. He got kicked out of his house. He's dealing with depression. And now he's going to act that out in the worst possible way, which is taking a human life. Let's not create an avenue for that kind of advice. Finally, he was a police officer for 33 years. And I'll tell you right now, from what I saw from most of these guys, especially the guys who we interact with on a day-to-day, more strategic, these guys don't have the best training, right? They really don't. That's why they're special constables and not constables, because they're kind of like constable aides, like a teacher aide, koskolo. Now you're giving people like this firearms, people that haven't been trained properly, haven't been taught how to make proper life and proper decisions, probably haven't been taught the full criminal justice system, the laws, all of that properly, right? Which is why and then now you want to give that person a firearm. I think that's the most dangerous thing that we could possibly do in this country.
Hey, man, I got the police. No, because but there's someone here who agrees with your point, Feng. So Kabelo Tatigama or Tatigama, sure. Again, KB, there are high chances you guys will shoot the wrong person. Yes, they're trained, but what is your say if one of your policemen shoots a wrong person? And if this happens, it might rise some conflict. What is your say on this? How secure is this for Botswana? We should also look at the rights, human rights. Yeah, which is very true. I think the rights and they could be the wrong person. True, right? But again, let's because I think it's easy to conflate this issue. The special constable will just be going around willy-nilly. Listen, I don't blame you, but just calm down, right? We're talking about violent criminals. Instances where there's a violent crime taking place. So the police are not just going to whip out a gun. You know what I mean? I think we must also apply a little bit of intelligence to know that the police, as poorly trained as you think they are, which I disagree with. I think they're quite well trained, right? Right? But even if they aren't, I think it's very easy to see a violent crime taking place, and heist is one of those things.
I want to read a couple quick comments here.
Yeah.
Right? 1K Rook. It's very simple. We have drones, use them. We have helicopters, use them. You don't have to carry guns. Catherine Mlambo. Hi, Kathy. Hey, Fangs. Tota shoot to kill should not be encouraged.
Hey, Kathy. Thanks for the comments. We invite more comments. Stephen Gwabeni. South Africans realize the guns don't solve problems, but people do. According to me, I think just like Marietta Bosch issue, let the law be tightened so that anyone seen or caught with a gun with the possible homicide attempt or burglary or cash laundry, I think Narawar cash heist, they should have one arm amputated. Whoa, no negotiations. If it is twice, then 2 arms amputated. Hey man, rekalapa. For anyone who attempts ka hore ba bonako ho tshwara ba itse hore cockroaches don't play a hot plate mo Botswana. We should be seen as a nation that does not legalize guns at all. You know what I like about Stephen's point, right? Even though some radical, I think that's a human right violation. But anyway, you know, I like his idea of a zero tolerance approach because now strictly nonsense.
No cockroaches. Well, you know what I like about Stephen's comment is the fact that he's talking about after people get punishment after people have been convicted. Because I get out of high law about convict you, amputate, whatever. Sure. We can debate what sort of punishment, but I like the fact that due process takes place in his idea.
Okay. Let's as we draw to the end of the show, let's just read a couple of more comments here. John Matios Are, our police are not gun savvy. Most of them last used guns in training. I doubt they have snipers, so allowing them to shoot to kill should not be entertained. They are bound to kill bystanders. Again, why it seems like there's a general consensus in the comments that our police, once you give them guns, they're going to kill everyone. And I don't understand where that comes from because, look, the abuse of power argument on its own, it's arguable. I don't think we have that much of a problem here, police brutality. Otherwise, there'd be a huge social outcry. But, I don't think it's as drastic as you put it. Can I just read the last comment?
Okay,
sorry. It's on Goho Nolta Utusitwe Wessels Are. Gape kana le ko malwapeng batho ba gana go tshedisiwa sentle ka tsone dithunya tse ke ba sepolisi kana ra ba itse.
That's a really interesting one because there was a pandemic, if you will, right, or an epidemic of masole, bahula their spouses and then killing themselves, or the passion killing, even though that term isn't used anymore, right, murder, suicides, whatever. That sort of thing. So depression, whatever, family.
Okay, well, let me give you my final thought as we close the show. That look, I think human rights are important, right? The criminal justice system is important, but there's also a time where there's special cases, right? Just like an SOE. I get it is a special case to deal with the pandemic. Leone, shoot to kill. It's a special case to deal with something that is becoming a growing trend in Botswana. So I think before we know it, South Africa like that. It started slowly. So before we know it, we're so close to South Africa, guns will be pouring in here. So let's have a zero tolerance attitude towards guns on the street right here, right now.
Okay. My comment is really about trust. These problems, they come from inequality, from suffering. They're doing it because they're desperate. So what we need to be doing is figuring out what are the causes of these problems instead of trying to escalate the level of violence that we already have in our society.
Before we go, we would like to send a special thank you to our show partners. That is Le Africa, who provide us with our sanitizers here in the studio, as well as some lip balm. They keep us moisturized. They also have a range of other products. It's good for your skin and things like that. And also a special mention goes out to the legendary barbershop, Legends barbershop over at Hillside Mall, just along the A1 there.
Got us looking fresh.
Yeah,
bro.
check them out, man. They got some fresh cuts for Lonamas Cruise Crew.
And with that, thank you very much for watching. It's been an exciting show. We will see you in the streets. See you next week. Goodbye.
I swear to you, I know feet explain. The things you do, they drive me insane. Girl, I swear to you, I'm not lazy. See, oh girl, I need you tonight. Hey, oh girl, I want you for life. Oh girl, I need you tonight. Oh girl, I need you for life.
We know what you're looking for.
Your specially grilled newspaper spiced with lifestyle, sport, entertainment, politics, business, and international news. The Voice is available every Friday. Subscribe now. The Voice.